We have dominion voices and then we further. Revelations chapter 8. Revelations chapter 8. Quickly, I want us to pray. Incense is irrelevant without fire. Hello, am I right? If you are burning incense, incense doesn't burn without a spark of fire to trigger the smoke come up. And then incense cannot be fed, or its fragrance cannot be fed if the smoke doesn't rise from it. Am I right? I want us to pray, just follow me. And then the proof of fire is that it burns. The difference between God's fire and human's fire is that every other fire, as they burn, they consume. But God's fire can consume, and it also has the ability to burn without consuming. Do you understand? Just God's fire can burn. That's why the burning bush that Moses was called to, it was burning, but it wasn't. The bush was not consumed. Yet, when Prophet Elijah called down fire, same fire came and consumed up everything. The trace of the acceptability of one's incense being burnt is the production of the sweet smelling savour, the fragrance it produces. Am I saying things that we don't understand? He just told us about incense. It burns. And then it's the four components, as he mentioned, is what makes it a complete incense. Let's quickly have Revelation chapter 8, verse 1 to 4 or 5. If you are there, just read. Revelation 8. Immediate, yes, ma'am.
And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven.
There was silence in heaven.
The space of half an hour.
30 minutes, right? Yes, ma'am.
And I saw the seven angels which stood before God.
Which stood before God. That is to say, these angels, you were teaching about heaven on Thursday. That means they were in heaven with God before the throne. They stood before God. Yes, ma'am.
And to them were given 7 trumpets.
7 trumpets, yeah.
And another angel came and stood at the altar.
Another angel came and stood where? At the altar.
Having a golden censer.
Having what? Everybody. Right.
And there was given unto him much incense.
Much what? Okay, yes.
That he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints.
That he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints. Not the prayers of the saints. Prayers of all the saints. I keep telling people, I say, God has men. You will be limited in your knowledge about God to think that all you know about God and what you are in God is all that it entails to be in God. Do you understand? If you think, was it not Prophet Elijah, which of them that was running, he said, all prophets have been killed, I'm the only one surviving. And God opened his eyes to see that 7,000 more. So God has men. So if you think, if you don't burn incense tonight, it no will work, then you will waste. Your incense will just be irrelevant. You will have it too, but it will be irrelevant. Yes, ma'am.
That he should offer it with the
yes.
upon the golden altar which was before the throne.
That means that altar was also in heaven before the throne. Okay?
And the smoke of the incense.
And the smoke of the incense. That means he burnt the incense, right? Yes, ma'am.
Which came with the prayers of the saints.
Which came with the prayers of the saints. That means incense plus prayers. Watch it.
Ascended up before God out of the angel's hand.
Ascended up. That means even where God's throne is bigger than we can imagine. That means even where the angel was burning the incense from was still lower than where God sat. Yet all was still before the throne.
And the smoke Okay, and the angel took the censer
Yes.
and filled it with fire.
And filled it with what? And filled it with what?
Of the altar.
Of the altar.
And cast it into the earth.
And cast it into the earth.
And there were voices.
And there were what? One.
Voices.
Yes, ma'am. Two.
Thunderings.
Uh-huh.
And lightning.
Uh-huh.
And earthquake.
The fragrance of my worship
rose up to the Father. Noises, thunderings, earthquake. When the response
we will sing it. Let's wait for the minor voices. Okay, is that all? I want to quickly say something.
I think that's
Okay, take me quickly to Luke chapter 1. I want to tell you something so that it will be. I posted on Facebook. I said, if you cannot pray, you can pray. You are ready to pray. You don't know how to pray and you want to pray. You know how to pray and you are ready to pray. You don't know how to pray yet. You are not ready to pray, but you came. You are protected by your presence. We will yet what? Pray. Yes, ma'am. Luke chapter 1 verse 8. Now, what just happened in heaven is a typology of what should happen in the temple. A typology of what should happen in the temple. Everything that happened, the way they were worshiping in the olden days, in the Old Testament, was how it happened in heaven. Now that we are not in the Old Testament and things have seemingly changed, Jesus has come to fulfill the law. There is a way we should now do it, yet in alignment with what happens and should happen in heaven. Yes, ma'am. Luke chapter 1 verse 8.
Verse 8. And it came to pass.
And it came to pass.
That's why he exalted the priest's office.
Why he exalted the priest's office. Executed. Why he carried out the responsibilities of the priest. Yes, ma'am.
Before God.
Please
in
bring
the
me.
order of this course.
In the order of his course. Yes, ma'am.
According to the custom of the priest's office.
According to the custom of the priest's office. So it is his lot. It is his normal thing. It is not a once in a lifetime thing. It's not a one-time affair. Still a lifestyle, sir. Yes, continue.
His lot was to burn incense.
His lot, his duty, waiting day when he do is to do what? Burn incense. That's talking about who? Zechariah.
Yes.
A priest. It was the death of Jesus that bettered the beginning of the New Testament. Did you hear me? It was his death and not his birth. But his death wouldn't have come if there was no birth. There wouldn't be death. That's why we celebrate his birth so much. But if he had come and he stayed all the days of his life and never died, he would still be, because when Jesus was here, they were still operating in the temple as though it was the Old Testament until he died and the temples were torn. Yes, now completing. Let me go down to say so that we continue.
Okay. That his lot was to burn incense.
Yes, ma'am.
When he went into the temple.
Yeah.
And the whole multitude of the people were praying without.
And the whole multitude of the people were praying without.
At the time of incense.
At the time of incense, they were praying without. That means they were praying outside. So please help me bring her to the ministership. Yes, ma'am. The whole congregation were what? Please, I don't want you to miss what we are saying. Just understand. Just know. I am going to preach the whole thing I'm saying and you understand. The first thing we read was the story of an event that happens or that happened by revelation in heaven. This one is a practical thing that happens on earth, and it happened in the days of the Old Testament, right? So Zechariah was burning incense in the temple as it was his custom and his lot in his priestly office. Yes, ma'am. So others were what? They were praying outside. That's why whenever we come, we say, please let me have the door of that king. God. I enter the holiest of holies. Why do you not remain at the outer court? Because that is not where the presence is. And the incense is not found at the outer court. Meanwhile, these people were praying without. They were praying outside. That is to say they were at the outer court. Remember, in heaven, the angel came up with the golden censer and was given incense to do what? Mix it with the prayers of the saints. So this thing that happened in heaven, it was when the Bible said, I have given you authority that whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever you lose on earth is loosed in heaven. That is to say, you have a right to operate in heaven and on earth. So thanks for that message on Thursday. I'll listen to it again. So they were praying without. Yes, ma, continue. I want us to hit a point and then.
And there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord.
There appeared unto him an angel of the Lord.
Standing on the right side of the altar of incense.
Of the words of the altar of incense. Revelation still talked about the altar of incense in heaven. So when you sing and you say, Holy fire, burn upon my altar. I will end with these two songs as we proceed quickly. Yes, ma'am. That's verse what? I want to stop on verse 11. That's the end of verse 11. Now there is the altar of incense. So this was, we have read of the typology of what happened in heaven and what happened on earth. And now, the one that happened in heaven was a revelation. The one that happened on earth was according to the custom of the way incense was burned in the olden days, in the Old Testament, right? In our own days. Now that you are not a priest, how do you burn incense? That is where I want to bring out the lesson so that you know your office. It was only given to high priests to enter into the throne room and burn incense. And they had a rope tied to them with bell on the waist, so that they are carrying out their activities, to be hearing the sound of the bell to tell you that this man is still alive. But once stop hearing the sound of that bell and they call, they don't hear. They call, they don't hear. What happens? They hold the rope because a normal man has no right and access to the throne room. That was why I said it was the death of Jesus Christ that brought about the New Testament and the New Covenant. So it was when he died that veil was torn. What happened? His death and our adoption into him gave us a place of royal priesthood. 2 Peter's, right? 2 Peter 2:9. 1 Peter 2:9. Please, let's read it quickly. Bear with me, we'll soon be done with this. I didn't plan it. I told everybody I was not talking or doing the meeting today, but it's expedient. This may help us pray better because it's prayer I want to do. I want us to pray. 1 Peter 2:9. Yes, ma'am.
But we are a chosen generation.
But we are a chosen generation. One.
A royal priesthood.
A royal priesthood. Listen. It said what? Many are called, right? It's scriptural. But what? Few. Many are called, few are chosen. But ye are what? A chosen generation. So this is beyond just a call. I say God doesn't use the qualified, or how did they say?
He doesn't use the qualified.
But he qualifies.
He uses.
God doesn't choose the qualified, right? He qualifies the choosing, or something like that. Something like that. But before you become chosen, you are first called, and then there is a process you undergo to be qualified to be chosen. So while he doesn't use the called, or he doesn't call the qualified, yet qualifies the chosen, there is a process you undergo that makes you qualified to be chosen. And that's why he said, here are what? A chosen generation, 2, a royal priesthood,
and holy nation.
And holy nation.
A peculiar people.
A peculiar people. 4.
That ye should show forth.
Yes. That ye should show forth
the praises of him who had called you out of
darkness. The graces of him. John 1:14. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory. Full as that of what? Full of what? Grace and truth. Yes, sir. Thank you. Full of grace and truth. Titus 3:11. The grace of God that bringeth salvation has appeared unto how many men? Are you part of those men? The grace appeared to all men, but not everybody embraced the grace, because verse 12 went further to say, teaching us that. We only quote verse 11 and then we stop. What the grace taught, or what the grace teaches, so many of us abandon it, and at that point we are not qualified to be chosen into the royal priesthood. But when you grow in him to understand your place of adoption out of darkness into his glorious and marvelous light, at that point you know you are a priest, and so it qualifies you to burn incense. So while only high priests offer incense in those days, now the veil is torn and everybody has access by adoption into royal priesthood to offer incense to God. So now talking about the altar of incense. You know, man is a tripartite being. Talking about the altar of incense. The Bible said, your bodies are the temple of what? Hello, are there Bible students? There are people who have the Bible. Your body is what? The temple of the Lord, right? If our body is God's temple, it means this body is God's temple. And it is the temple that houses. Remember the olden days temple? It is in the temple when you come, you have the outer court, you have the holies, and then you have the holiest of holies. So your body being this temple, there is still another portion inside. The real man is the soul. That's why the Bible said the soul that sinneth shall die. So it is not the man that sins. Because the man is made up of the spirit, soul, and body. So the soul is in the man, is part of the man. Why the body, spirit, soul, and body? Why the body is the temple? The soul is the man that offers the sacrifices. Why the spirit is the holiest of holies, where it comes out from. And that's why to be able to burn and offer rich sacrifices and incense unto God, making your body a whole life of sacrifice to Him, it has to begin from inside out and not outside in, the way it was in the olden days. So the death of Christ turned it. While people prayed and came into the temple and worshipped from the outer court, from the gate into the outer court to the holy and then to the holiest of holies, in our days it should come by an understanding of what your spirit intermingling with the Spirit of God is doing, and then it comes to control the soul to accepting this, and there is an irresistible effect of the body because it is what is housing what is happening inside. Do you understand? But we must pray to make this work. The angel released when the incense in heaven was burnt. Fire was dropped into it. When 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says, pray without ceasing, we are always praying. Yes, we are spiritual, we always say that we are praying. Even if you are sleeping, you are praying. But whether we accept it or not, your spirit can be actively functioning. So you cannot say, as you are eating, the word they talk, the prayer. So prayer is beyond just the words. So pray without ceasing means pray consistently, maintain a consistent. In that place, we see they mention the hour of time of prayer. Some of us, we say we want to be praying by 12 o'clock every day. And that 12, God has an appointment with you. He's there, you are not there. You have ceased in your prayers already. So when we consistently burn this incense on our own parts, the holy fire that burns upon our altar, which is our hearts, is that one that is released as fire from the throne is dropped into our incense. It makes the incense, the heart, the altar of sacrifice continuously burn. So say, holy fire burn upon my heart. From within me, Spirit, you take hold. Holy fire burn upon my heart. But you prompt it. Holy fire. I make that prayer. Holy fire. Holy fire. I want us to pray. Holy fire. Holy fire. If you want to sit down, you can sit down. If in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I want us to burn incense through our prayers now, so that when we start ministering in song, holy fire, holy fire, so that by the time we start singing, our prayers will have already been made available. And then when the fire is brought, it will be dropped into our incense of songs and prayers of the saints. And when the fire is brought, we will leave their hands as well. Take again. Holy fire, holy fire. From within me, Spirit God. Spirit of me, you take over. Holy fire. stand now to drop fire on the incense we have raised or are raising. And there is need to mix it with the prayers of the saints. Do you think the prayer you just prayed now is enough to stir up the fire to burn? Can you pray once again? Pray once again. If you need it, can you just raise your voices and pray? I see Jesus seated on the throne. I bear homage to the Lamb of God. I see Jesus seated on the throne. I bear homage to the Lamb of God. It's not the question number. I see Jesus. Father, Christ is done this like it.